Hi, Michelle here again.
And Christine, welcome.
We're back again to tell you about more of our adventures
The
and
adventures.
experiences in Vienna. I was like,
Yeah,
where are we?
inside Vienna. Well, we've been so many places.
We have been so many places.
We're situated at this moment in the courtyard of our hotel, and in the background you'll hear what Merlin ID tells us is a wood pigeon and a Eurasian black cap. So when you hear birds, that's what you're hearing.
It's so nice to hear birds.
Right?
So yesterday we had a really cool experience. It was a bit of a journey to get there, but we went about 2 hours south of Vienna to a small town and met a wonderful couple. And the woman, the wife, her name is Christa, plays the glass harmonica. And just to give you a bit of background, we know that both of our people had experiences with glass harmonica. For example, Dulon, he was at somebody's house, I don't remember who it was, and he heard the glass harmonica played there quite a lot over a 3-day span. And he talked about how he thought it was best with slow pieces, but I think it's maybe because the guy who played it wasn't very good. Who knows? And he was quite interested in the beginning, and yeah, he thought it was really cool. And then Paradis, she, with the mesmer thing, have we talked about that yet?
Not much.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that one too, but not this one, not in this podcast. She knew a guy named Mesmer, who was
Healer.
a healer,
Yeah.
and he used the glass harmonica. So we know that both of them had interactions and reasons to know about the glass harmonica. Plus, it was fairly well known and used a lot at that time.
Yes, it got played in some very high-profile places, and so for a while it was a real trend. It was a very trendy instrument, which did sort of fall out of favor, which is why most people today don't know what it is, but it definitely had a vogue, and a Mozart and Haydn composed for it.
Yes, and we don't have Haydn's composition anymore. Mozart wrote 2 things, and here's a picture of a glass harmonica so you can see it. And you're gonna see a little video of both Christine and I playing it. The reason Mozart wrote for it is because there was a blind glass harmonica player, and her name was Marianne Kirchgessner, and she came to Vienna. He met her, so he was inspired to write for that instrument. And it happened along about a month before that, he had met Dulon for the second time. Now, he added flute into this piece. And I think, I'm going to put my theory forward, that he added flute to that because it's for glass harmonica, cello, viola, oboe, and flute. I think that he added flute to that because of Dulon, because he knew Dulon, and then he met another blind musician. He's like, I want to put these 2 instruments together, almost like putting the 2 musicians themselves together. I want you to talk, Chris, about. We can go to how we met them and everything in a second, but when you first heard in person the sound of the glass harmonica, again, this is a picture of it, and it's these glass bowls going smaller and smaller and smaller as they rotate, and you get water on your fingers, and they rotate and your fingers go on the edges of the bowl. It brings out the sounds. You'll see when we're playing them in a second. So when we first heard the woman play it for us, what did you think, Chris?
It wasn't even thinking. It was such a visceral experience. I have heard so many recordings of the glass harmonica because I've been a kind of a fan of the instrument for a long time. And so, as with any musical instrument, when you are in the same physical space with it, it's just it's hard to explain the difference. And so to hear it in real time, real space by a woman who's playing it, she's a masterful player. It was transformative in a way that I have these experiences, and I'm sure everyone does, motivated by different things, where you lose track of time and space. I felt that she'd been playing forever and that she could keep playing forever, or I wasn't even thinking about time because it had this timeless quality, and the tone of the instrument it's unusual, and it's kind of piercing in a way that just gets right into your viscera in a certain way. And when you were speaking about how Dulon and Paradis had both had encounters with it, it was very appropriate because this woman Christa, for her, it's a musical instrument, but it's also an instrument of healing, and she sees people who have medical conditions, and she uses the glass harmonica to elicit energy shifting and emotional, physical healing for them. So when she played a Mozart piece that I recognized. I was completely moved by the beauty of it and the ethereal quality, but when she improvised things that were more meditative, it really worked. I felt it was more than music. It was music and it was something else.
Yeah, I felt that too with that one. I loved the Mozart stuff, of course. Everybody who knows me knows I love Mozart. But that one that she did, what's it called?
She called it Mother Earth.
Mother
She said,
Earth,
let's
yes.
welcome Mother Earth. And oh, it truly was a transcendent thing of time and space. And I don't want to, I'm not a mystical person by nature, so I don't say something like that. Like, that's not something I say every day or every week or every month or every year, but that experience was truly. So we were in a very small village in the mountains in rural Austria,
Yes.
in the home of these gracious, sophisticated, professional musicians,
Yes.
very welcoming. And um, the magic of being in that place and just all of the choices and motivations that brought Michelle and I together to be in that space in that moment, and then the moment just vanished because this woman can create that ethereal out of time experience. It was truly I'm not even sure what word to use for
know,
it.
right?
It
Sometimes
was
there's just no
very
words.
powerful, very, very powerful experience.
So we're gonna absolutely we're gonna watch a little video of Chris you playing it first, and then me playing it, and then we can say how we felt about it when we were trying
Yes.
it. So here's Chris. Okay, so Chris, tell me how you felt about that.
It was, I'm going to use a strange analogy. It was like when I tried rock climbing. And the reason I use that analogy is that your brain and body and every part is so focused on the techniques and the physical movements and the subtlety of putting that all together, because you're pedaling on the pedals. You need a smooth, slow flow of that, and you also need the right hand position of your fingers to get the tone. And because it was my first time trying it, there was this intense, and I noticed it with you too. I'm sure you're going to say that you experienced the same intense focus of trying to, I mean, of course, I'm not going to master an instrument in
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I know
in
what you
1
mean.
minute, but there's this way in which, if you're new at something that you really want to be good at, you focus in the most intense way. And for me, again, because I had been listening to the glass harmonica, and it had been a genuine low-key ambition of mine for literally decades. How can I get my hands on it? How can I have a glass harmonica under my hands someday? Could that ever happen? And there I was, having that experience with this beautiful, gentle woman who was willing to give us advice and help position my hands. And the sound, you could hear it, but you could also feel it. I could feel it in my hands. And so the combining also, I've never played an instrument that involved my feet and my hands.
Right.
That use of the whole body, to your feet are moving, your hands are, and yeah, I'm incredible. It was very, very amazing experience. How about you?
Oh, well, here's me playing it. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so at first it felt a little awkward, and apparently I tended to pedal too fast. I don't know how much of the clip I'm going to show, so I may not get to where she's like, slow down.
Slow down.
But you put your hands out like this, this is the part of your hand that is touching, so right around this knuckle. It's not, I thought it was going to be the tips of my fingers, but
Yes,
it's
me too.
that part of your hands, as you can see, is touching the edge of each bowl. And you can see the gold piping around several of the bowls. There'll be two in a row, kind of, and then there'll be three. So those are like the black keys on the piano, if you play piano, or think of a piano keyboard. And so I was trying at one point to try and get a little melody going, but I didn't have a sense of how far away some of these edges were yet. But it was fun to try and get a couple of tones going. I tried a low tone, and she says it's really hard to get the low tones and the high tones. We were on a slightly smaller one that he had made, the Gerard, Christa and Gerard. We're going to put some information about them below because they have some wonderful CDs that you can check out, or their music. Check them out. They're wonderful musicians, wonderful people. He plays the verrophone, a different type of instrument, but also very similar in many ways. So I felt giddy. There's
yes,
a word.
That's that's a good word.
I felt giddy, and I felt honored that
Yes.
they let us play their
Yes.
instrument, and I felt like I really wanted to sit here for 2 hours and
Yes.
figure out a song, like
Yes.
play a piece on it. But I knew I couldn't do that.
Yes, I wanted to be able
Right?
to sing with it. I because that's my
Oh, you
my
could have done
voice is
that.
well, I didn't have enough going on, but
Well, you know, yeah, I
and
know what you mean.
they truly made us feel honored. Like these are professional musicians. He's an instrument maker. She's
He made what he- yeah.
a healer. Like they're very very beautiful people, and I felt honored by the patience and the hospitality
Mm-hmm.
that they showed us. It was amazing.
In fact, he made the harmonica that we played on.
Yes.
She played on a
Yes.
different one behind us that was a little bit bigger, so it had a bit more of a range.
Ah.
And so we played the one that he made.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
What a treat.
It was a real
What-
treat.
What a treat.
So,
Yeah.
and that piece that Mozart wrote was the last chamber piece he ever wrote, because he died at the end of that year. Because he met Dulon in April, and this for the second time, and Marianne in May.
Yeah.
And then this was, I think it was June when it was first premiered,
Okay.
and then he died in December.
Right, right,
So,
right. One of his
yeah.
last pieces of all, and yet it's such symmetry because Dulon, as I said, Dulon encountered it as a novelty instrument, and Paredes encountered it as an instrument of healing, and we got to experience both of those elements of the
Right,
instrument
yeah, I didn't think of that.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mesmer used it as a tool of healing, just as Christa does.
So a little bit of background, Benjamin Franklin invented it, and that's only a tiny bit of background. We don't need to know too much more than that. Chris talked about that before. But what happened during that time of the early 1800s, mid 1800s, is for some reason people started to dislike it, in the sense, and I don't think they actually disliked the instrument, but they thought it would drive people mad. The sounds of it were so ethereal, it was driving people mad. And I brought that up, saying, like, where did that come from? And Krista kind of said, well, they think it's because, women wore very, very tight corsets then, and they would, what's the word, faint.
Faint.
They would faint, and then they were misconstruing that as
Yeah.
something about the music. And I think also the doctors of the time, like when Mesmer was using it, what he was talking about was so foreign to what they were thinking, and also they didn't really understand medicine anyway, that they didn't like what he was doing, so they wanted to kind of put the kibosh on it.
Yeah,
Right?
and Krista sort of had another take, an extra take, which is that because it was so trendy and of the mode of the moment, that it's kind of like how people will faint at a concert because they're so excited.
Right.
Like the latest fashion will really get people overexcited, and they'll pass out or get so excited that it looks like they're in a transport or something. So
Right.
I think Krista sort of named that as well.
That's true,
as
yeah.
But honestly, I loved it, but if I listen to it for 3 hours, it does kind of pierce your brain a little bit.
It does.
After a long time.
And
So
Dulon
I
said
can
that
sort
too,
of-
right?
He
said
did.
so Mozart wrote for Haydn, we don't have the music. C.P. Bach wrote for it, haven't heard that yet. Donizetti used it in his Lucia di Lammermoor in the Mad Scene. What else did they say? There's a couple of modern people.
There's a composer named William Ziedler who's from the United States, and that's where I first encountered it. He composes for it, and he has several records that are glass harmonica and harp, and they're beautiful. I discovered that decades ago, and so honestly, yesterday was just
Oh, and harp, nice.
literally a dream come true.
Yeah,
Literally a
that's
dream
cool.
come true for me.
And Gerard does some composing for it as well.
Oh, does he? I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
was
I
saying
knew
he
that.
posed. Yeah, he composed something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
They
it was,
tour. They
tour.
take it to Japan. They love Japan. They love to
Yeah,
tour
they
there.
really love that,
They
yeah.
do, and so they showed us the case that houses it
Yeah.
when they travel. It's got 2 wheels. It's kind of like an upright urn almost.
Sort of, and it's got they have to buy a whole ticket for it.
Yes.
It takes up a seat.
A seat on the plane.
And so does his Verifone. They've been
Yeah.
to Canada. They've been to Montreal and Vancouver.
Yes.
Or BC anyway.
Yes.
And they're they just you can tell they have such a love for it. They
Yes.
started out as violinists actually,
Yes.
and that's how they met.
They both share a passion for new instruments and
Yes.
unique instruments, and you can tell that in their house. They have many unique things, and Yes,
Yeah.
composing for it, building instruments.
I think we've said it all. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing more to say about these guys. Again, thank you to them. Let's just have a little, as we're going out, instead of the usual exit music that I use, we're going to use some glass harmonica music after we say goodbye. Okay? So if you like this, by the way, press like.
Yeah.
It makes us really
Share it.
happy when there's a light. Share it.
Share it.
And you can always subscribe.
Thank you, Canada Council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Canada taxpayers.
Absolutely. Bye.